Today on The Riff, Justin and Jon sit down and start riffing on the topic of Jon Martz being a junior or not. I'm still a little confused, so I'll continue to call him Jon Martz Jr. We hope today is helpful and hopeful. Thanks for listening.
Well, Riff, we're here. And by we, I mean myself and the one and only Jon Martz.
Well, actually, there's multiple.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're a junior, right?
Well,
is that right? Or are you a third?
Close. I would have been a third.
No.
Great grandpa, Jon Martz. Grandpa, Jon Martz Sr. Dad,
Okay.
Jon Martz Jr. Me, Jonathan Martz.
Wait, so you're not even a junior?
Not even. Oh, I guess I ruined it. Yeah, I'm not.
This whole time.
So then my son, go ahead and guess. Beckham, of course.
I was going to say, is his real name John?
No.
Because I've always called him Beckham. And
Yeah,
I feel,
that's his
I'm going to
name.
feel silly if that's his
No, that's his name.
Okay,
So-
good.
So close. But so yeah, Jon Martz. Yeah. Well, not the one and only, but close. Very close. Very close.
I feel silly at this point.
Well, that's okay.
Gosh. Okay, so here we go. If you've been with us the past, I don't know, 4 years, you have listened to the Jeremy Johnson on the Riff, and he up and went and became a university president. Which I always said. Once I saw him, I said, that guy. That's a university president.
You've always said that.
I've always said that. So if you are listening to this, Jeremy is he is going to be leaving for Seattle on the 16th and 17th. That's his last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So he is still around. You're still going to be able to catch, I believe, his last message, 16th and 17th. Oh my word. I'm going. Are you going?
Yeah. I thought I'd pop in.
I'm going to go to every service. I'm going to go to every service. And then the Riff. All right. So what we talked about on the last episode is we're going to continue the Riff. Even though we're in transition, we're entering interim season. We thought, we're going to give the people what they want. And by people, I mean my mom. She asked, what are you going to do with the Riff? And I said, I don't know, Mom. And then her next question was, is Jeremy going to be on it? And I was like, wow, that's hurtful.
Kathy?
Yeah.
Kathy?
Oh, Kath.
Okay.
So what we are going to continue it. And what we're going to do in this transition interim period is we want to make sure that we get a lot of voices that Jeremy has talked about on stage, right? The DLT in this room, just talking about leadership, talking about transition, talking about principles, viewpoints, perspectives, all of that. So we're just going to riff.
Which DLT? What does that stand for?
I don't know. They never told me.
You don't have a high enough clearance. That's probably why.
No, I don't.
But directional leadership team. There you go.
Team.
There you go.
That's the DLT. That's myself. That's Jonathan Martz. I don't want to get it confusing here.
Not the one and only.
And Jen Davis.
Yes.
So we make up the DLT. So you're going to hear a lot from those three voices. We'll bring a couple of other people in and just walk through the Riff in the meantime during this transition. What? I mean, Martz, come on. You're the interim guy. Yeah. What does that even mean?
That's a great question. Well, I will say this, just walking through the process, and I will say we, as a church, I'm so proud of this church. I'm so glad for where we're at. So thankful for the board that we have, the staff that we have, the leadership team that we have. It just gives you a lot of hope for the future on what to look forward to. And so really the board is walking through this process of accepting applications at this time. And so really for this month, they're going to be doing that. And then they'll walk through a few of those candidates, whittle that down, do some interviews, and run that process. And so over the next month or two or three or four or five, no idea. Hey, no idea.
And that's a couple days.
And that's, that's some of the best part, right? Is however long that takes, I know for any one of our staff members, we'd say the same thing of whatever role we need to play to move the mission forward, to move the needle forward, we'll do that. And this is that of me stepping into that. And so however long that is, excited to keep the mission at the forefront. I think part of my thought process through this interim process is if you were tethered to Jeremy, I don't want you to get tethered to Jon. My goal is to tether you to Jesus. I think that's the most important part. And so through this process, just reminding, even in the series we're doing, right? this series of Invisible Jesus. It's not Invisible Jeremy, because that will be that. Okay, but this is Invisible Jesus. It's walking through. We truly believe he's the one who can change your life. He's the one who transforms marriages. Christmas cards look different, right? Because he gets a hold of your life, changes your heart. And so I think through this process of interim, that's kind of the focus is let's keep the mission at the forefront. This mission is too important in this community and our surrounding communities. Nixa, Republic, Zone 1, Springfield, even other communities that Springfield hits. It's too important to lose that. We don't want a missional drift. It's too important. We got to keep that front and center. And through the process, let's tether people to Jesus, right? We are a safe place to help people find and follow. Was it Jesus?
It's Jesus.
Jesus.
But to be honest with you,
Perfect.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it could be easy to tether yourself to Jeremy, just because in my mind, like Jesus and Jeremy kind of wore the same thing. Very flowy.
Very similar
very
shirt, blouse?
Yeah.
What do you-
kind of,
what
I don't know if
dress?
Jesus wore a blouse,
Okay.
but it was very flowy, right?
Yes.
So I hope Jeremy listens to these now. I really...
No shot.
Here's the deal. I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, when you look back at our last 13 years, if you were involved in any way with North Point, I think you saw the leadership of the Johnsons and what that meant for this community. But as Jeremy had said, the mission was strong before they got here, and it's going to be strong after they are not here. And I think that was just so them, right? Of leading in an open-handed way that were just like exactly what you're saying. Like, hey, I want to make sure like you get like Jesus is the key here, right? Like that's actually what we're after. So I love the way that you put that, but I can get it how people can get confused because of the flowiness of their garb. You know,
Absolutely. I feel like they probably run similar too. I've never seen Jesus run. I have seen Jeremy. Have you ever seen Jeremy hit a golf ball? I have no idea. I've never seen a body move like that before. But it somehow makes contact. And you're like, wow. You're kind of left speechless. And I just imagine that Jesus, I would be left speechless quite a bit. But I will say, in the process of, like, if you're a follower of Jesus, when you're beginning that process, it's easy to follow someone who's following Jesus. That's kind of like how it starts sometimes. You mimic, you watch, you see other people on their faith journey and think, okay, I'm going to do that. And without even knowing it, it's easy to attach to a person. And then when that person has a crisis in their faith or they move away or something happens, it becomes a crisis in your faith. And so in this process, we're just walking through, let's make sure that we're tethered to the right person. And I think that'll be helpful as we move forward, no matter what pain you're feeling. I just believe, or confusion, or maybe you feel a little lost. Hey, is this a place I can believe in? Is this a place I can invite my friends? Is this a place that my family is still going to feel comfortable? Is this still going to be a safe place? I want to let you know, absolutely. In fact, that's at the forefront of everything that we're going to be doing. And so I'm excited about that.
I love it.
I actually think not a lot changes there.
I love it. And we're going to continue Invisible Jesus, the series.
Yes.
So Jeremy is going to hit, I believe, Esther this week. And then you start with everyone's favorite. It's Job.
Oh, thank you.
You're going to have to do some
I did not want to.
Yeah,
that would have been embarrassing. Okay.
But what a riveting read that you get to start with.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a fun one.
I don't want to give anything away.
No,
okay, but
don't.
It is 42 chapters long, so you can just read all that. So it's a
my
little longer than I
word.
thought.
Okay, so what we're going to do today, I thought about just walking through anything that you've got, because I don't know, like, are you a riff kind of guy, or you're more of a preparer? That's what you are.
I think I'm more of a preparer, but today I have very little prepared.
Well,
so we're going to find out in this episode if I'm a riff guy or a prepare guy.
Welcome to the riff, my friend.
Here we go.
Oh, my mercy.
I'm like a riffer-ish. I riff-ish.
Okay, so what I want to talk about is I just want to talk about the why for you, right? I mean, you've kind of talked about what you want to see and the tethering of G, like all that, but like, why is interim a yes for you? Like, why was it when the board came to you and they're like, hey, Martz, I think this is the route we want to take and we believe in you. Like, why was it a yes for you? What's the why for you on that?
Which is a great question. And
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Nobody has really said that. Jeremy would never say that.
It
to
wasn't
me.
a phenomenal
This feels
question, but
better. I don't.
And you look great, by the way. You look great, by the way. You didn't probably have to say that either. So, which, a side note, before I answer that question, riffers, I'll let you give a guess. My first boss at North Point.
Oh, my word.
Justin Glenn.
Justin
Glenn. And so of all the bosses, Justin's definitely one of them. He's definitely one. I'm kidding. He's been a great boss. But, and honestly, a lot of what I get, I really have sensed from all of our staff here. But when I say why this role, why stepping into this, one, I was just like, I've never wanted to be a pastor. I think kind of what I'm walking through with this interim season is what I hope people experience is that I don't want other people, I don't want my faith to be tethered to other people's faith. I think there's a piece of that where I'm like, I don't like that. And by the way, I don't like being part of a megachurch. Like that's like, that's kind of gross to me, right? In megachurch, they don't have like the best rap sheet on the, in the country here. And so I think keeping those things in mind of walking through like, one, we got to fight that megachurch vibe. We can't be too big to know people's name and know people's story. If we are, God, send us less people. But what we can use is other North Pointers on mission to help other people see Jesus. And that's where the beauty comes from this, okay? And so the excitement, I think, is we're about to have a lot of people that are on mission that are going to be used in a unique way. Not to say they weren't before, but this is an opportunity not to step out, but to step in. And any way that I can help provide a handle for people to do that, I got to do that because I've experienced something so beautiful from Jesus of this idea of being free in Christ. And there's so many different expressions of freedom in Christ. And I think I've seen, however you grew up, I think there's a lot of people that sometimes they grew up with a lot of freedom and they did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And maybe Jesus wasn't a part of that. And then later in their life, they find Jesus and it's rules-based, it's rigid, and this is how it's got to be. And they got Christ, but they kind of don't have any freedom. But they had freedom, but then they didn't have Christ. I've also seen the opposite, right? You grow up very rules-based and you understand who Jesus is. You've got a lot of Christ in you and you just feel like it's about the rules. And then later on, I've seen so many people. I went to a Christian college. I grew up Christian. My dad's a pastor. I've seen so many people. Jon Martz Jr. Yeah. The second, fourth and only.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But and they go off and they go on a different path because they're like, well, I didn't experience a lot of freedom when I was with Christ, and I truly believe there's a way to experience both. Right. And that's the beautiful part. And so for me, what I've got is this spirit of something where I feel it and I want other people to experience that. And so whatever that is because what this idea is for me is this idea of form and spirit. So spirit is something you experience. It's hard to honestly put words to sometimes what you experience and whether it's maybe you lost a loved one and you went through a grieving process and you had to navigate that. And it was hard work and you put in the work and you had mentors and the right people came at the exact moment and you learned the things you needed to learn and you walked through that process. You're like, wow, that was so helpful for me. I want other people to experience that. Like that's the spirit behind that. And so what you begin to do is put form to that. You're like, okay, could I start a class? Could I do a group? There begins with revelation comes responsibility of saying, I want to do something with this.
You have that tattooed on you, don't you?
I don't.
You said that too smoothly to not think that you've said that. That was not
tattooed
a riff.
In here, baby.
That was not a
tattooed
riff.
In here.
I could tell.
I could tell.
All right.
Let me look at my notes. Did I say that right? But and there's lots of different ways you experience the spirit of something. Okay. Maybe marriage. Okay. You had a really crummy marriage for the first couple of years. And then you walked through some things. You had some counselors that helped you see some things. You had some friends that showed you some things. You did some work on yourself and you discovered some things. And now all of a sudden you have a great marriage and you love the marriage you have and you want other people to experience like, hey, no, marriage can be great as well, right? And so you are like, I need to do something with that. I don't just like keep that in me and not share that with those around me. I'm also not going to be a jerk about it. You need to do it this way, and this is how it needs to look. We've seen that done wrong. But I do think that there is form that we sometimes bring to spirit. And so when it comes to spirituality, I think there's a lot of people that I experience that would say that they're spiritual, and that's for them, that's smoking weed in their basement or something, okay? And that's their spiritual moment. I'm like, okay. At the same time, there's not a lot of form to that spirit. And so when it comes to church, I'm not like, man, I just love church. Church, I think I've heard that the local church is the hope of the world. I don't know. I didn't find that in scripture anywhere. But I'm like, I think it can be. I think it can be when it's done well and when you help people see Jesus, not a really cool light show or really great graphics which I'm not against excellence. All that to say, let's keep Jesus at the forefront. And so, because when you experience the Spirit, you have to bring form to it so that people can experience it too. And we're always going to be adjusting that form. There's going to come a time where probably our Sunday morning, Saturday night service, our weekend experience needs to look different because it's not achieving the same spirit that we want people to feel. And we're going to change it then. But I think the Spirit is aligned with, like we want you to experience freedom in Christ. We want you to find and follow Jesus. We want this to be a safe place for you to be able to do that and explore. And so we are going to probably change the form lots of times and tweak it. We're always tweaking it in little different ways. And so we're game for that. That doesn't stop too, by the way, just because we're in an interim period. It's not like, hey guys, don't change a thing. We're not going to do anything different. Seriously, nothing. You just, like, the great news is we got a phenomenal board that's like, we need to lead during this time. Let's move. This mission's too important in our community. We got to keep it moving forward. And so we're doing that. And I think that's the exciting part during these next few months, however long this is, of, this really can be a beautiful process. And I think there's going to be, we're not tied down and it's got to look one certain way, but we are married to our mission. And I'm excited about how that might look, because I think it could look a lot of different ways. And it may look similar to some, and some may be like, wow, that's so different. So pick it apart.
No, I mean, I think that I know you well, right? You say I've been your first boss, but we've been together for, how long have you been at North Point now?
That actually, as we're doing this talk right now, we should both be on a sabbatical. So
right.
We adjusted, but you're 15 years. I'm 10 years full time. So I've been at church 12-ish. So yeah.
And it's just been fun to watch you like mature and grow in all of these different areas.
Someone say I haven't matured too much. So
I would be one of those. Yeah, I don't know.
Perfect. I went from like 6th grade humor to like 7th grade.
It was great.
Like 7th or 8th?
End of 7th grade year.
Okay.
Like going into 8th.
Perfect.
No, it's been so fun to watch just your trajectory of who you are. And it's so fun also to know that, like, the first time I met you, I just knew that you were a pastor. And you've done so many things around North Point, which also makes you a North Pointer, because that's just what North Pointers do. It's like, that's what the team does. It's just, we just make it happen, right? Like, okay, cool. Like, I've got grit. Let's go. We're scrappy. You have been in so many different spaces, and something I have admired about you in all of those spaces, you have carried culture in every space that you've gone. So the things that you're saying right now, you're like, game for change, this, we might do this. But what's true about you is that you don't change culture. You don't change mission because you really are married to it. And what's been awesome is to see you in these different spaces. Like, all of them are very different. Like, you ran IT for a while. Is that right? I think that was,
I call it a
season.
Yeah. Did I call that wrong too?
Uh-oh. Whoa. I mean, like, it literally is just, we need it, you need it. But what's crazy is you somehow carried culture and mission into that space. You led young adults in a way that was so life-giving. Same culture. You launched Republic in a way that was so life-giving. Like, it's just been fun to watch all of these spaces that you've been in, and you're exactly where you are right now, I believe, because of all of these different things that you've done and been able to put together, and why the team looks and they're like, Martz, hey, yeah, I think this would be a great idea to have Martz up on stage as a voice for North Point, as a leader for North Point during this interim season. So I couldn't be more excited to have you in the space, man. I'm for real. I love it.
Well, I am thankful for where the church is at. Like I said, the great news is we're not walking into a situation we were 13 years ago, right? Where you got a lead pastor who has an affair, and then Jeremy steps in, has to turn around, walk through a lot of tough things. The great news is we're in an awesome spot. We're in a solid spot as a church. We've got a great staff. And so the exciting part is we do have such a great a great thing where God's had his hand on this place for so long, and I just don't think he's going to take his hand off now. So
Right.
as scary as things could feel, as nervous as things could feel, as much as it's like, well, it's going to change, what's going to be different, God's got his hand on this.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the peace comes from in whether it's the interim role, whoever steps in this role next. I think the exciting thing is God's always been here, and I just don't think he's going to stop now. So lean in on that.
And I think that as you walk through, if you're listening to this and you're walking through the transition with us, and you haven't been through a transition with a pastor or anything in the church, it is a moment of like, what's going to happen? I was fortunate enough, and I say fortunate enough, I learned a lot through that season. I was in that transition with the founding pastor, Tommy, into the space where Jeremy came here. And I'm here now with Jeremy transitioning out. And it's so interesting because in both of those spaces, like I found myself 13 years ago, 14 years ago, concerned, worried, upset, and grieving because I'm like, I don't want this transition to happen because of so much potential, like what could be. It was all of this. And it's odd that now I have this same like grief and like, but it's because of what has been. Like
that's cool.
So it's a very like interesting space to where it's like grief is grief. We're going to have a sense of loss, but there's also a new season. And in that season, I've seen it. Like there will be fruit in the season, and I'm with you. Like God's not going to let go. And here's the deal: North Point's not going to be around forever. So that's also not like I'm not like God's got like the church. The gates of hell will not prevail.
Keep praying even when we're 99 years old and on our death.
I get it. I get it that North Point is not like. Well, as long as North Point's around, as long as this mission is around. Exactly what you're talking about. Holding tightly to that mission. And here's another thing. I'm going to say one more thing, and then we'll, 21 minutes, 25 minutes, we just riff. Another thing too, you saying yes to this space is not easy. So you're a smiley guy. You're very optimistic. And I love that about you. And I think that's what it's going to take because this is a really, really tough role that you're stepping into. There's no doubt that you're going to get compared to Jeremy. Like, and this is the riff. So we're just going to speak
I think we
real.
have the same shoe size too. So hopping into that, I'm going to.
But here's the deal. People will always be like, man, those are some large shoes to fill. But what I've always said is like, Jeremy's a good enough leader that he's taking his shoes with him. I'm serious. Like, so I need you to know, like, from my seat, like, there will be a tendency like crazy from my seat. I'm like, I know that you two are so different. And I pray for me that I'm able to see those differences and never be like, well, this is not, John, that's not how Jeremy used to do it. And that's how a lot of people like that are North Pointers are going to have that initial like, well, that's not how we had that joke. That's not like, and you are just saying like, yes to it, right? Yes to the criticism, yes to the comparisons. Because your yes is for Jesus and for the mission of North Point. So I couldn't commend you more. I mean, I'm so proud of you, dude. Like for real. Like just from knowing you for over a decade and then for you stepping into this space, saying yes and your why behind it. I love it. I love it. And I have said this multiple times organizationally. I don't like, right now, I'm not afraid of transition. Right? We've got strong leadership in you. We've got strong leadership in the DLT. We've got a strong board, right? Personally, I am, very sad that Jeremy is leaving. He is a dear human to me and to many people, right? But organizationally, missionally, I just feel so confident. I feel confident in you. And I just want to say publicly, thank you. Thank you for saying yes to this interim season. Because who says like, hey, you want to do something that we don't know what's going to happen as temporary, but we're going to call it interim? You want to do that? Yeah, sure. So thank you, Jonathan Martz, for saying yes to the interim season. I'm excited for what's to come. And I'm also a little nervous. I don't know what's going to happen, man.
Well, and while we're exchanging compliments, I just had really good leaders. Like I don't say that lightly. You don't stay somewhere 10, 15 years without great leaders that let you lead, that give you leadership opportunities that you pay the dummy tax on, that you learn from. I've I paid the dummy tax several times, and it hasn't been met with this like unbelievable. I can't believe it. It is this. Well, I would expect you to try to hit a home run, and you're going to do it every once in a while. And in the big things that God's with, like you do, even if it doesn't feel like you do. I remember being so nervous about Republic. We hadn't really had a super successful campus launch in a while. And so even for me, there was some...
Joplin had glimmers of hope. We talked about that in the last episode. We had some hope there. All right, man? Jeez.
So I remember going in and you're like... Do you want to launch Republic? I'm like, no, I don't. Well, and that it's not because I did. It's because I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's a piece of me. It's like, well, are you going to give up on me if it doesn't work? This is scary for my family because if I do this and what if we hate it? What if me and Mel and our kids are like, yeah, we don't like this, and this isn't the spirit that we wanted it to feel like? Then we leave North Point. And we go somewhere else. And there's not another church I want to work at. So I'm not like, I could just go to this other church. I'm like, I probably wouldn't work at a church. I probably wouldn't be a pastor. And so that's where I truly do feel, as long as I got this, I'm going to give everything I got. I have no idea how long I got this, though. And that's not me not taking it seriously, not stepping into the call. It's this thing of like, man, life is so short. And it's so beautiful. And you might as well give it everything you got while you got it, and work as hard as you can while you have an opportunity. And then when you don't, be okay with that too. So I think there's a piece of me that at the end of all of this, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 6 months, whether it's 13 years, right?
It's a long interim season.
That would be.
That's a long.
You'd start calling it interim at that point in time. Just sound out all the syllables. Like I just want to sit back and be like, man, I'm proud that while the opportunity was there, I worked as hard as I could. And I think there's other people that are rallying around as well, right? That are excited about the mission, not excited about Jeremy leaving. Like that's hard, that's sad. Let's put that aside and say there's still people that need to find and follow Jesus. And I'm here right now. I can help create a safe place. I can help untether people to people, help them tether to Jesus. And let's do this thing together. And it takes people on mission to get people on mission to see this beautiful mission played out in every one of our communities. And this isn't just Springfield. This isn't just Nixa. This isn't just Republic. This isn't just the Zone 1 area of Springfield. This is the surrounding community. Who knows what could be next? And so people always ask the question, like, what does North Point look like in 5 years? And I'm like, North Point? Like, it's not that I don't think that we're going to change in any type of way. That's not it. But like, we are going to continue to be the tree, and we are going to grow taller. We're going to prune some branches, but we are going to give people the clearest view of Jesus we possibly can. And that doesn't change. And so, whatever we have to do that, the beautiful thing is in 10 years, I hope North Point is here. And I hope it's North Point. Like, so if you were nervous that you're like, is this not going to be what I thought? I think it's going to be exactly what you think it is. Mm-hmm. And that's the beautiful thing, because the spirit behind it, whatever the form looks like. And you might say, hey, North Point might not exist anymore. This mission still will. And this mission is inside each and every one of us. And in fact, we call that in the church world multiplication. Okay, it's not addition; it's multiplication. And you take that wherever you go, right? And actually, the beautiful part about North Point is that it's not inside the four walls; it's actually outside the four walls. And so, as you take this mission and live it out in your community, in your neighborhood, whether you're in Bolivar or Joplin or where even you're not in one of the cities that we have a campus, the beautiful thing is that the mission still continues. And so, I know we talk a lot about the mission. But that's a mission that we just believe God's given us. And it's a unique way, a strategy that we believe he's given us to help people discover him and get a clear view of him. And you could grow up in church and not have a clear view of him. You could grow up having no knowledge whatsoever of who Jesus is. And I hope you can walk through the doors of North Point and be like, wow, I think I have a better understanding. Or now I know what questions to ask. Or maybe I didn't get more answers. I just got more questions, but let me go explore those questions. And so I'm riffing here. I'm just riffing. And so,
I know. This is it. You're doing it.
If you're listening to me on time and a half, I already know you're like, dude, slow down. I'll talk real slow. Hey, by the way, internal, that's just self-awareness right there, Justin. Okay. So I'm just trying to show.
That's part of your maturity.
Is that 8th grade now? Am I up to 8th grade?
I would say it's 8th grade now.
Okay.
It's maturity.
But we didn't do our normal thing. Usually you guys like ramble for like 20 minutes and then maybe we did though.
Well, first off, I'm a little bit hurt that you call it rambling.
Sorry. Was it riffing? Was it?
It's called content.
Friendship?
That's what that's called.
Okay.
It's called content.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's good. And I usually stick around for that. But then I, you know,
It doesn't
30
sound
second,
like
30
it.
second, 30 second,
That's
30
what it sounds like. Yeah,
No,
that's what it sounded like.
I don't.
Jonathan Martz, I am proud of you and honored that you said yes to this season. And I'm excited to see what's ahead. I really am. And we're going to be joined by some guests on the next couple of weeks. I don't know who they're going to be, but I'm so excited. And Jen Davis, she said yes.
Yes.
She said yes.
No
to coming on
takebacks.
here. No takebacks.
No takebacks.
No takebacks.
Yeah.
So we will hear from her in the next couple of episodes as well. But Riff, thanks for sticking around. We're going to keep this thing going until we don't. I don't know when we end this thing. I don't know. Jeremy and I talked about ending it like 15 times. So we're just going to do it until we don't like it. That's really what the riff is. I think that's what it is.
Deal.
And my mom.
Kathy, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
All right, Riff. We were going to see you next week. See ya.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.